Focal point. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was so interesting to have and show how lonely his life was and how singular it was and how isolated he was, and then to have him be so focused and have such a focal point that he was really, that was the thing that was tethering him, the thing that kept him going was looking for his son and trying to figure this out. And that was what was driving his research, that was driving him as a person, like in all, like every action that he had. And ultimately that's what he drove his final decision of, I would rather have my memories, even if it means living, you know, in a cell essentially, than having the freedom but losing all of that. And I think that that's just such a powerful and beautiful point about human connection and love, and in whatever form it is, whether, you know, it's friendship or romantic or, you know, a parent or a child, and how much that can truly not just mean to a person, but how that can make a person. So I thought that this was really beautiful and really, you know, intense.
This was a very different dystopian film. I loved the graphics and the fact that it was an older man that was the main focal point of it, which I guess is the title as well, but it's instead of like a young person. Most dystopian films have a younger person who is the hero, and instead you're following an older guy who's alone, so you have sympathy for him. You have this guy that you really feel bad for. I loved that graphic of the telescope where he's peering down and it's like he's seen a memory. And I really loved that. It was a beautiful special effect. It was something I've really never seen before with the telescope, because usually when in films, when you go in there, you see the dividing of cells and stuff like that, not memory. And this specific memory, which was repeating over and over, it was really beautiful. And this dystopian film where it kind of shows what happened, how we got there, and what he's doing, it's just, I loved the idea of following a different type of hero through this. Instead of a young hero or heroine, it's an older gentleman who's miserable, and he leaves the world behind to go searching. It's so completely different than any other dystopian film out there.
Focal Point does a really great job of creating a world of capitalism being dragged down to its dystopian future in the 22nd century. We've seen that a little bit of time has passed, and it's connected to productivity and capitalism and dollar signs and trying to save, gain as much profit and have people be addicted to these medicines and take these pills that essentially drive them into madness. So work for the man until you are driven mad to then either commit a crime, to be violent, to snap. And they do a really beautiful job of throwing you into this world and building the rules of this world and having this really nice experience of just humanity and this act of, do you fall in line or do you step outside that? And they have a really beautiful way of following the scientist who has really thought out every different possibility, yet still finding himself in this routine. Routines are a really big element within this piece. This Groundhog Day effect happens where they fall into the routine of doing the same thing day in and day out for the sake of productivity. But in doing so, they've lost that sense of soul that exists within humanity, this sense of light that exists within his family. And so in order to take action to prevent his daughter from making the same mistakes he has made, he's left these trails of breadcrumbs and pieces behind for her to hopefully discover so that she doesn't make the same mistake as he. And so it's just a really beautiful piece that has a lot of commentary of, I think, a lot of things that are relevant in today's society. And the filmmakers did incredible work on this one.